Welcome to another episode with me, Tracy, the health coach. Today, I'm excited. We have another special guest with us today. We have Shelia Malcolm. Shelia is a certified professional coach, speaker, trainer, and best-selling author. Shelia is passionate about helping people grow personally and develop as leaders. With over 20 years of experience in corporate America, Shelia's personal journey through adversity, including navigating a divorce while raising two children, has shaped her passion for helping others find peace, joy, and fulfillment. As a member of the John Maxwell team, Shelia empowers clients to break through mental barriers and achieve their fullest potential. Shelia's recent piece, Master Your Mind, Win in Your Head First, highlights how our greatest battles are fought in our minds before they show up in our lives. Her work has been featured in Voyage ATL and Shout Out Atlanta, and in 2019, she was recognized by the Jacksonville Business Journal for outstanding accomplishments by a small business. Outside of coaching, Shelia enjoys spending time with family, friends, and re-energizing her mind, body, and spirit outdoors. So welcome, Shelia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
There, you are so welcome. You're so welcome. So I like to start with a little icebreaker. So if you were to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with three different people, who would you have for breakfast? Who would you have for lunch? And who would you have for dinner? Could be anyone at all, dead or alive.
My grandmother would be number one. Okay. I was raised with this powerful woman, and you mentioned my book, and my book, the chapters in there, not the chapters so much, but the sections in there represent the values that she raised me with. And those pillars continue to live in my life today. And she's passed on now. She's been passed away since 1996. And I miss her wisdom. Mm-hmm. I miss her charm. I miss her relentless love, her compassion, her empathy. I just miss her dark navy blue eyes. I just miss her smile. And so what patterned my life, just growing up with her, she modeled it for me. So she was very compassionate. She was a woman of service. She was one that was resilient. She just really lived that out. So this is where she's bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That's where I got it from. That's how it just kind of infused in me through my DNA. So that's number one. Mm-hmm. And number two would be Harriet Tubman. Why? I love her from the stories I've read of her, because I heard she was 5 feet tall, and I'm just as tall as she is. And in Jamaica, they have a saying that say, little axe fall, big tree. Mm-hmm. So there's a power in us little people. Even Napoleon Hill was a short person. Exactly. So sometimes we think because we are small or we're young, we can't do certain things, right? I'm also a person of faith, and Jeremiah is one that God had to remind him, don't say you're a child. Don't say you're too small, because what God has put down on the inside of us is so much bigger. Exactly. So as I think of Harriet Tubman, going back to rescue her people and helping them to see a way out, I see myself as the same, allowing my people to know there's possibility on the other side, right? And on the other side of the possibility, within them lies their power, so they can trust that everything that they've been through, every challenge, there is a breakthrough down in there, and they can grab it if they can win the fight in their head. And Harriet will tell them this: if you don't shut your mouth, if you don't come with me, I'm going to shoot you. And she meant that thing. I don't think she did it, but she threatened them because she wanted them to see their possibilities and not let go. And my third person would be Nelson Mandela. Mm. And the reason for that is, though he was in prison for 27 years, what he was in didn't get into him.
That's it.
And that's what I'm trying to ring the bell and let people know. What you've been through could be for you to share with the world what you've overcame.
That's it.
And not only did he come out of that prison, but he was able to rule over the country from where the people came from that put him in prison.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to, banter with you and talk this thing through and just realize that we have so much for us available, and we need to find it, grab it, and bring it on, hold on to it for dear life. So that's my 2 cents of those.
Amazing, amazing. So your grandma, Harriet Tubman, Nelson Mandela, powerful, powerful, powerful. So, and I love what you said because it turns nicely into what I'm going to ask, which is, what is your definition of what coaching is?
Okay. So my definition of coaching is unpacking what you already know.
That's it. I love that. Yeah.
Because the thing is, as I talk to my clients with coaching, we don't give advice. We let people tap into what's within. We kind of help them move the cobwebs, lift up and move the clutter out the way for them to zoom in on the things they already know. They just maybe have a little self-doubt and a little fear and a little bit of this and a little bit of that that's standing in the way. So we help identify what's in the way and we kind of help them to move it.
Yeah. I love that definition. Yeah, exactly. I love that definition. So what led you to take that transition from corporate into coaching?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. So I'm a person of faith, as you know, and I lean a lot into, because faith is my fuel. It fuels my vision. It fuels who I am. So I anchor in my faith a lot. So as a person of faith, every 3 years or so, I do what they call a spiritual gift test. So we go through an assessment just to see what shows up. So okay, am I on the right path? And this word kept showing up, exhortation. I'm like, what the heck is that? It's an old English word, and exhortation in today's language is encouragement. And I realized that encouragement is something that I naturally do anyway. So I started to, I have the coaching mind. I started investigating and asking more questions. So as I did the research about exhortation, I found that encouragement is something that I can do. I'm like, how do you do that? Can I make money from it? And I realized in the coaching space is an opportunity to hold space for someone. And that's where the encouragement lies. When they get stuck in the could have been, should have been, and the negative what ifs and the self-doubt, you're able to help them see, because they're in the frame, they can't see the periphery, what's outside. And so that is my insight into coaching, realizing that the gift that I have, the exhortation that is within me, that my designer, my creator put on the inside of me, is available for me to use to help others and to do the work. So in the middle of the pandemic, I was, doing all this thing, and I was coming up on my 25 year and trying to figure out what next. So I called HR and they said, oh, this and this and this and this. And I said, okay, thank you for letting me know what's available. And so one day I was sitting down and kind of thinking it through, and I decided to have do a fast to figure out what my next move should be. Again, because I'm a person of faith, I don't just do anything whimsical, mamby-pamby. No, I'm intentional with the results that I want. So as I was preparing for that, one day I looked and I saw a piece of paper behind my couch. And I'm like, where is that paper hanging out? And I pulled out the paper and I saw the word and it say forward. And I'm like, forward? What does that mean? But I've been praying and I've been fasting. I said, okay. So I took that as a sign to say, move forward. So after that, I put on YouTube, and on YouTube was Pastor Jeremiah having a conversation on TBN talking about his book, Forward. I'm like, okay, another sign, forward. So keep going forward. But later that day, or maybe it was the next day, I can't remember, but sometime after I look at the paper and I realized it wasn't forward that was on it, it was word towards, and I had drew a line through it, and at first glance it said forward. But I didn't let that deter me, because as I leaned in and listened to Dr. Jeremiah explain about his book and helping people to move forward, even in the pandemic and as things were happening, he shared about a man that was in the corporate space doing this job that he loved. I think he was a professor. But he wanted to find something to do with more meaning, more impact. And he started to do work with the prison ministry. And I'm listening to this thing and I'm saying, okay, God, I need to follow what you're telling me to move forward. And I do admire the idea about adding value to people and living a fulfilled life. So when the opportunity came, I took it. It was scary, but I took it. I'm a person of faith, so I took the leap of faith, y'all, and I said, okay, goodbye, corporate. Hello, coaching. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I didn't leave the lessons that I learned at corporate. So my coaching is informed by my life experience, all the challenges that I've been through and overcame, and the breakthroughs that I've overcome, and all the lessons that I learned in the corporate space, as well as the classroom setting, the coaching, training, and so forth. So that's my long answer to your short question.
It's good. It's perfect, very perfect. And I know there's so many people who are considering transitioning to another career, but they're afraid. So for you, leaving a secure job,
Mm-hmm.
regular income, how did you,
Mm-hmm.
I know prayer and fasting was a key thing in your decision, but now how
Mm-hmm.
did you deal with these fears and doubts that can sometimes block people from making that transition?
I want to tell you, in full transparency, it's not easy.
Yes.
I did the work. I did research and plan and had some things in place. But as we would say, life be life. So
Yes.
there were some hurdles that I came upon and some pitfalls. And I realized I have to continue to be relentless and leaning into my faith. What did you hear? The word was forward.
Mhm.
It didn't say you wouldn't get pitfalls. It didn't say you wouldn't have detours. It said forward. And I'm holding on to that with tears, with fears,
Mhm.
but I got an order. I was given a command, move forward. That's what I felt. And I know that I'm sent, I'm on a mission. I really realize that the work that I'm doing is not just coaching.
Mhm.
I realize it's multifold, right?
Yeah.
So I realize it's a ministry because not only do I get to help people get out of the stuff that they're stuck in, there's some clients who believe like I do.
Mhm.
And I'm able to pray with them when they go through challenges.
Yeah.
I'm able to offer space for them that a part of self-care
Mhm.
is a spiritual practice
Mhm.
and help them to tap into that so they can fill their cup, so they can get what they need to keep going when life come and
Excellent.
disruption come and the basket is turned upside down and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So as much as it is scary, I say you can plan as much as you plan, but just know that challenge will show up and you've got to be true to the directives that you receive because I believe my work is kingdom work.
Mhm.
And because I believe that, I am determined to go forward
That's
no
it.
matter what. But the tears, here's what I do, y'all. I grab my box of tissue and pull it close to me.
Mhm.
And when the tears come, I let it come.
That's it.
And then I feel better and I keep going.
No, but it's true because, even there's nothing we can ever do to fully prepare. And as you said,
Mm-hmm.
life will life. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just finding your own way to overcome these challenges. If you need to
Yeah.
cry, you need to cry. And it's okay to cry. Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of people will face challenges and
Mm-hmm.
making changes is always an issue. So is
Mm-hmm.
there something, maybe, I don't know, a few things that you feel may help people when they're trying to make big changes to their lives?
You need resources, right? You need financial resources. You also need a group of people that you can consider your accountability partner, a group of people that can speak into you, a group of people can stand in the gap and pray for you when you can't pray for yourself, that will offer support. I have several dear friends that I literally tell you, they invest into me. And I don't want to call names because I don't want to leave anybody out. They realize that I'm on a mission. They realize what I'm about. They realize my calling, my purpose, my gifting. And on a monthly basis, many of them, or randomly, I should say, they would check in and say, Sheil, how do you do it?
Mm.
Or sometime I open up my account, there's something in there, a surprise. And I'm just grateful for those people because they're reminding me of the command going forward. Sometimes I could get discouraged when there's a moment or something come up that may not go right. There's a dear friend that every month she's sewing into a what I call it's a scholarship for when folks come to my campus. If they cannot afford the full amount, I can offer them a portion, a gifting through that program of the scholarship that she feeds into. So, it's good to have people resource. The human capital are very important. The spiritual resource and financial resources.
Yeah. I think those are big ones. Yeah. And for those people, I've had this before. I don't know if you've had it. I'll just coach myself. I'll just counsel myself. And I know you've already said, we need wise counsel. We need people who can hold us accountable. So what's the limitation for someone who feels, I'll just coach myself. I'll just counsel myself?
If you can do it, go for it. But here's the thing. If you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go far and do great things and enjoy good things in life, you partner with somebody.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that I've learned. When you're in the frame, you cannot see the picture. So you need partnerships that can help you to see what you don't see, to help you to lift yourself up when you can't do, because there are going to be moments that you're going to get gut punch in life that you're going to question. Why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? There are people to remind you as to what the mission that you're on, the purpose that they see, the giftings that you have, and the reason for your being, your ikigai. They will remind you why you're here and that we're depending on you for those things. So the human capital is very important.
It's important.
Nobody was meant to be by themselves.
Not at all. And I think during
during
the pandemic, even the introverts felt a little bit, I need people. Yeah. So when we're making these choices and maybe even looking for a coach or what to transition to, what training school, what workplace, what are some things we need to bear in mind as we make these decisions? I know for you, you're a faith person, so for you, making that decision meant praying and fasting. So before we make certain choices, big choices, what are some things we need to consider? Yeah.
You can start with as simple as paper to pen or pen to paper. Put the pros and cons down so you can see it, because if you can see it, then you will know, who do I need to connect to? Who can help me here? Does this need to be on the list? Does priority 1 stay at priority 1? Does it go down to 3? Does 3 come up to 1? Have a space where you can literally see. Get a whiteboard. Get empty your head. Get out of your head. Because if you let everything stay in there, you're going to have challenges. So you have to have a practice and a behavior. Get into spaces where you have trusted people that can say to you, yeah, that sounds good. Because for me, I'm a big picture thinker. And sometimes I miss the details. So I need people who are good with details, because I have a dear friend that does my taxes. And I love him to life, because sometimes I'll be sharing things with him. He'll be saying to me, Shelia, did you think about this and this and this? And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. Now I have food for thought. I got to go back and now, okay. All right, let me scrub that out. So you need people with reason, not yes people, not people that say, yeah, do it. People that are going to help you count the cost of this decision that you're making.
Yeah, I think that's important. And maybe part of that is also self-awareness. So how can we improve our self-awareness?
Yeah, tap into self-awareness, because you will, and it doesn't just come like that. You got to get still. You got to have those reflective moments where you really go in and really meditate and be mindful about, okay, what's the outcome that I want? Turn off the noise, put away the phone, and be still. For me, that works like in a corner in my room, in my pink chair, or by water. Any body of water. Could be a waterfall, could be a river, could be a beach, but someplace near water where I can either put my toe in there and just sit and just wait for the responses to come. Yeah. So find your place, that happy place, that joyful place that you can, tap into what you need to hear, because you know what you need to do. It's just that you may not know how and who, and that will come after.
Yeah. And I know you've coached many leaders, directors, international clients. So what are the common leadership challenges that you see in them?
There's a common one. It's called imposter syndrome because a lot of them are young and they're smart and they are high achievers and they are in spaces where they're like, wait a minute, this space usually see older people in their 40s and 50s, and they're in their 20s or 30s, and sometimes they get intimidated by the spaces that they're in. So what I do, I have to kind of help them bring it in and remember why you in the room in the first place. How did you get in the room? They saw something in you in the interview process to say, okay, I want you in this space because I see the benefit added with you being in the space. But sometimes when challenges come, they forget about all that. So I got to remind them, okay, bring those achievements out. Bring it where you can see it. List them. What are those things that people have said to you, the impact that you have made? Remember them. Bring them to mind. And don't lose sight of your power, your gifts, your talent. This is why you're shaping, you're a mover and shaker here. Remember who you are, those gifts and talents that you have that are so natural, that's impacting in the space that you're in. So that's one that comes to mind. The other one is really self-worth and them thinking, I'm not enough. They're not enough story. Sometimes get in the way, especially when they're trying to reach the next level. And something happened. They didn't get that promotion, that particular position, that desire. They start retreating and feeling like those negative chatters start coming up. So what I help them to do is tap into tools that they can pull up or pull out of their toolbox to remember that right there is part of who you are. It's not in you not getting that role. You're more than that. Reminding that your self-worth is not tied to the salary, it's not tied to the position. And help them to empower themselves. Because as a coach, as much as I love them, I can't be there with them in the middle of everything. So I got to teach them how to find it.
Exactly.
You know? So those are two key things that come to mind. Them listening to the not enough story and retreating when they should be going forward.
Exactly. And do you find, is it more women who would have those or is it the men or it's just equal?
It's so interesting. I've been in a lot of talks and webinars in different spaces around imposter syndrome. And technically, it's more women. But I found several men that came to me had this issue. So I want to say, based on my experience, it's available to everybody. And it seems like both sexes are having this issue.
It's just a human issue at the end.
Exactly. It's a human issue.
And I know you also worked with 15 men last year. Did you intentionally set it that way? Or
no, ma'am, because I'm a woman. I could tell you about being a woman and all that stuff about being feminine. And so my marketing script was more focused towards women. I help women. But then men started choosing me, and I'm not leaving no money on the table. So I didn't, say no. So then I had to revamp and go back on. I know some parts of my website may still say woman because I need to update it. I haven't done that quite yet. But in the spaces that I can do it real time, like on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and those spaces, I changed it to leaders because I found a lot of people coming to me to identify the leadership in them. And it was not limited to women. And it was not limited to a certain age group. So I'm like, okay. Someone once told me, sometimes we want to pick our niche, but our niche pick us.
It does.
Over time, it picks us. And I'm realizing leadership is my niche. So it covers both men and women.
And why do you feel coaching men is important? Or like in general, coaching for men.
I'm a boy mom. And so I love my sons dearly. And I keep telling them all the time, that God gave them to me for me to practice on them. They're my practice for the real world. But as I continue to coach, I realized there's a key thing that a lot of men either they do have it, but they don't know they have it. Is self-compassion. And in the day and age that we're living in, I live in North America, right? And I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from Jamaica. And in the culture that we are raised as Black men, as African American or Black men, compassion is not something I think that's taught.
No.
They're more, taught be tough, man up, and do this, don't cry, be a big guy, this kind of stuff. And in the pandemic, we realized that vulnerability and self-compassion was so needed. And me observing that and realizing that, I gave my clients the space to be honest, to be vulnerable, and tap into this space of empathy and compassion for themselves first. And then they could offer it to others. And I haven't seen any of my male clients cry, but I've seen them pause.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? What exactly is that? Tell me more. I met this one gentleman. I had the opportunity to do a mental fitness coaching during the mental fitness month in May of last year, mental health month. And there's a group of millionaires. And this guy's tall, handsome, Black man, tough. And when we're talking about having compassion, he reached over to his colleague, which is a female. She's an attorney. And he asked her, what's that about? What is that? And so she explained it to him. And then he said, oh, I don't do that. But by the end of the seminar that we went through, he recognized how important that is. To really have a check-in and have a little grace with yourself. Forgive yourself, letting it go. And there was two of the guys in the group, and they were able to share with him how they do it. So now he's receiving from a male perspective and understanding that, yes, you can be tough, and we expect you to be a provider. We expect you to be out there doing all these things, but we also expect you to have grace with yourself when things don't go well, and grant yourself a space to rejuvenate, to gather yourself, to fill your cup, so yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so I know in different spaces, male spaces, like there'll be seminars and different things like that, and they'll always encourage men to have a male mentor or maybe a male coach. But what do you feel is the value of having a woman as a coach?
As a coach, we ask questions. So usually, after in that first session, one of the last questions I ask before they exit, because I do a lot of coaching virtually, so it's through the computer. I'll ask them, why did you choose me as your coach? And I get all colors. I have Indians, I have Chinese, I have a Japanese client right now in Tokyo. I have, clients who are Muslim of different. I have clients from all walks of life. But when I ask these men, why did you choose me? Number one, they would say, there was something about you. I don't know what it is, but I think I can believe you. And then as we continue on the coaching journey, they're like, you speak to my heart. You understand what I'm saying. You empower me. You help me to see what I don't see. You don't coddle me. And you really give me that feminine touch with a charge of saying, listen, if I got to come a little closer in the camera, I do. I do. Because, I'm 5 feet and most of them are taller than I am anyway. So I'm glad we are in the computer. But they value what I share, and I share it with compassion. And I share it with urgency and understanding what they're going through, the outcome that they want. A lot of them are high achievers, like I said. Some of them are in sales or in, different industry that demand that they win all the time. And I have a phrase that I learned from my mentor, John C. Maxwell, is that he has a book called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. So there's no losing.
Yeah,
If we
true.
have a winning mindset, you never lose because the lessons are valuable. So
Yes.
that's what I help them to dig into and realize that even though you may not win in this space, what are the lessons? Can you draw them, spend some time with them, and see how you can apply them in the next situation?
Yeah.
So they're, I'm excited to, when I see a male client jump on, because sometimes their names is hard to judge because the
Mm.
names are unisex, like Jamie. You think
Yeah.
it could
Yeah,
be a
true.
male or female. You don't really know. So I have to wait to see who shows up on my camera. But I welcome both men and women leaders, people who want to make a difference in their life and be fulfilled and find joy.
Yeah. And so there's coaching is a powerful tool. And as you said, we're just helping people to bring out the answers already in them. And
Mm-hmm.
then it just transforms their life. And then of course, when you see success in one area, it can have a domino effect on other areas
There
of
you go.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much to gain, but what do you feel is the underlying reason why there's maybe hesitance or maybe resistance to coaching?
Again, environment, how they were raised. I think a lot of that have to do with it. You know, especially for the men, you take care of it yourself. You
Mhm.
don't need help. I know, like, people. I don't know if you've ever had the privilege to be on a trip with a male driver. And you're
Yeah,
lost or something is happening, and you're like, okay, we should have been there already, and they don't want to ask.
yeah,
They don't want to call anybody or
yeah,
stop and ask anybody.
yeah.
So society have conditioned people to think that they can do it by themselves. But like I said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you need resources and support. And so sometimes understanding what kind of support is available and how the support can help you. Because again, every time they come on, one of the first things I tell them, I don't give advice.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do already. I just help you to find it.
Yes.
And then I go into accountability mode. You tell me what you want me to hold you accountable to, and you tell me what time and how you're going to do it, and I'll be right there with you on the phone, on the text, in the email, whatever tool we're going to use. But my goal is to help them get out of their own way.
Yeah, that's it. And I know in a recent presentation you did, fabulous presentation, you said, the most famous people have about 4 coaches. Now,
Yep.
someone may say, well, I'm not famous. So
Hmm.
what would you say to them to encourage them to consider getting the support
Good
of?
question.
Yeah.
So you're famous as how you think of yourself. When we say famous, a lot of people think fame, you're out there, you're on social media and everything. But you're famous to yourself first. You're
Mhm.
famous to your friendship circle. You're famous to your kids if you have any. You're famous to your boo. You're famous to your husband. You're famous to those who are important to you, right? Because you add value. When you're no longer in that space, you're missed because of the value you add. So when we answer that question, what area in your life can you identify that you can do better?
Mhm.
And if you could have done it better by yourself, you would have done it already.
Exactly.
And if it's not being done, you need some resources.
Mhm.
Who are those resources? And a coach doesn't have to be live and in person. It could be a book, a podcast, a webinar, something that somebody's doing that you want that you can reach for.
Yeah.
Some of it is free, some of it you have to invest in yourself to get it, right? So if you want to lose weight, you've been trying to lose weight and you're struggling, that means something is not working. So you need someone that's outside of the frame to help you. If you want to make money, you want to multiply your capital, and you're doing it by yourself and it's not increasing fast enough, you got to get connected to a financial advisor, someone that knows money, breathes money, sleeps money, understand this is what they do. That's their power. That's their superpower. It's not yours.
Mhm.
So you have to attach your caboose to their train so that you can get what it is. So identify in the different aspects of your life. In your relationship, is your relationship flourishing? If it's not, find a relationship coach, find a counselor, find a therapist, find somebody that's going to help you to have that joy and that fulfillment in your life. So identify those 4 areas. There may be more, but go for it. Start with 4 or start with 1. Which area can you identify that one thing that you need somebody that knows better, that have more information, that have more experience than you, that you want to better in the next week, the next month, the next year? So that's how you make those decisions. Am I happy with where I'm at? Am I feeling joy where I'm at? Am I getting the outcome out of this life? Because nobody is coming in to rescue you. Nobody.
Nope, everyone is dealing with their own issues and problems. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to ask her maybe a controversial question after saying that. So
Mm-hmm.
coaching is suitable for a lot of people, but it's also not suitable for some. Who is it not suitable for?
If we're not a good fit, if
Mhm.
you're not opening, for example, if a gentleman comes to me and then we have our consultation session and we don't click,
Mhm.
if you're not going to value me as a voice to speak into your life, then we can't roll together. Don't spend your money or don't come on my campus if you're not open to receiving
Mhm.
from me. It doesn't matter what I look like, what I sound like, but is the coaching experience moving the needle in the forward direction of what you want? So that's what I would say when it's not a good fit.
That's it. Yeah. And I know one big thing people also struggle with is consistency. And I know around this period of New Year's resolutions and everything, consistency becomes an issue. So, what's the link between consistency and accountability as far as you're concerned?
So it's funny you should ask that because I just did a Facebook Live earlier today and consistency was part of the content in there.
Yeah,
So consistent action creates habits,
that's it.
right? Consistent habits, you get success.
Mhm.
So if you want to be successful, consistency has to be in there somewhere.
Mhm.
What am I going to consistently do? That one thing that I'm going to consistently do until I see a change in the direction of the outcome that I want. Accountability is staying true to this thing that you say you're going to be consistent in. Because if you say you're going to walk 10,000 steps a day, whether it's raining or snowing, you need to be out there.
That's it.
Put on your snow boots, grab your umbrella, get out in the elements and move.
Yeah,
Because the outcome of what you want is a better health,
that's
better
it.
well-being.
Yeah.
So the weather don't care
Mhm.
about your health. You do. So if you do, then you have to be accountable to you first and be consistent in your action.
And I know you also mentioned about, we need to bet on ourselves. We need to invest in the things and resources and people, whatever it looks
Mm-hmm.
like, to help us in our personal growth and development. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's your advice for those who are kind of in or out when it comes to coaching or therapy, just getting those resources? What's your advice for them?
If you don't like what you see when you look at yourself, whether in the mirror or sitting down and investigating your life, only you can change it. You've got to first decide that this here is not what I want. Once you decide, then the other things fall into place as to what's my next step after my decision. So my decision was to find out if coaching was an option for me. And I did the work, I did the research. And so when I found out that coaching was an option, I realized a girl from Jamaica had a very thick accent.
Mhm.
And so my message sometimes could be conveyed, misconstrued, I should say.
Mhm.
So I decided to do some research and I found Toastmasters. I went to Toastmasters to hone my skills in speaking. And then I went I went on John Maxwell campus to learn. I partnered with Lisa Nichols. I partnered with the school I got my coaching certification through, where it was a real in-person school where I can, meet the psychologist who is the owner and my mentor and connect with people that can help me make a difference. So if you're tired of being sick and tired of what you see, feel, and experiencing, let that light a fire underneath you to find someone that can help you experience the best version of yourself. Only you can decide that.
That's it. And for those people who seem complacent or they know they want better, but it's like they're just comfortable where they are, what's maybe one powerful question that you'd use to help them to open their minds to new possibilities?
Open their minds to possibilities.
Or just to
Sometimes,
something different. They don't have to live that way.
yeah. Sometimes people have been beaten down so much, not literally, but figuratively, so much with life that they've gone through, they've experienced, that they cannot see hope on the horizon, see possibility on the other side. All they see is where they are. And I have a metaphor that I can use, and hopefully that can convey the message. My grandmother said to me, if you can look up, you can get up. You may not know how, but it opens up a door to possibilities. And I'm a bird person. I love birds, all types of birds. Because as a person of faith, I believe that if God can take care of the small little bird, he'll take care of me. So every time I see and hear the birds, I'm reminded to keep believing, to keep moving forward. So when I look at birds, there's a time I did a talk around, are you a chicken or are you an eagle? Mm-hmm. So for me, eagles is my bird. Mm-hmm. I'm attached to eagle, the concept, and that's a talk for another day and another time. But eagles soar. I want to soar. And I identified that through my life and decided I want to soar. Right? What does that look like? Me getting out of my own way, me asking myself some powerful questions like, are you content with where you are? Are you getting out of life that which you want? Is there a pin in my shoe? Am I uncomfortable in some places in my life? And what am I going to do about it? Because nobody can fix it but me. I am my own rescue. So just understanding that, I start asking myself questions and finding out more. So with the eagle, an eagle soar. An eagle is very keen. It sees far. So I study the value of the eagle and how can I apply those things to my life. I don't want to be a chicken just to stay on the floor and peck, peck, peck. As much as I love eating chicken, yeah. I don't want to be a chicken. Yeah. I tap into what I have, and I have courage in me, the courage to go forward. So as I sit with myself, I know that what's in me. But before I even got there, I had to sit with somebody to help me to see what I don't see. So I say participate in free consultation with coaching just to see if you're a good fit with that person, if they can give you a little window into what's possible. Mm-hmm. And that's my roundabout answer to your very specific
No, but it's good. Yeah, because literally you have nothing to lose. We don't have to stay where we are. Mm-hmm. And if you're not satisfied, and we know when we're not satisfied, you may be just going around life, but you know deep down you're not. No, it's not.
You're not satisfied.
You want more, and you can have more. You may need someone to support you in getting that more. So what's next for Shelia in the horizon?
What's next? There's so much things brewing. I'm working on a few things. I'm not privy to talk about it right now, but keep your eye on my social media spaces. Yes. You will see it. I'm working on my second book, and it's around being an entrepreneur, you know, just really understanding what drives you, how to stay present with that, and when the pitfalls come, when the breakdowns come, how to break through.
Amazing.
I'm given a command to really express through words, tangible word that people can read and take with them, and realize that the power is within them. If you look within, you'll find it. It's there. Sometimes it's cluttered over by life, things that have happened. And I have to remind myself every day that everything that I've been through caused me to be where I am today. There was a long time ago I would say, I regret this and this and this, but I've learned to look at them differently, because if this didn't happen, then that wouldn't happen. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am. So I now learn to value my mistakes, value the pitfalls, value everything, because again, we don't lose, we learn.
Exactly.
So whatever else is available to me, I am open to do it. I'm a speaker, so I'm open to speak at churches, retreats. I'm open to speak at schools, whatever environment, to leaders all around, whatever organization you're in, to help them learn to empower themselves and find the power that's in them. So what's on the horizon for me is more of that, more of what I'm currently doing. Just bring it on, bigger, bolder, bring it on.
And on that note, where can people find you? How can they connect with you? Because I'm sure they'll be so inspired. And just having a conversation. Yeah. So how can they connect with you?
So you can connect to me in pretty much most social media spaces. So I am on LinkedIn. Just search my name, Shelia Malcolm. It's SHELIA and my company is Look Within Life Coaching. I am on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I am on YouTube. And when you get to YouTube, watch my videos, subscribe and share and bring more people in, because what I have is a gift to all those who have been assigned to me. And I haven't met them all yet, so I would love to meet them.
Exactly. I love that.
I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Facebook too.
Yeah. I love that you said, those who are assigned to you. So yeah, I love that. And I'll also share the details, Shelia's details on the description. So connect with her. But thank you all for watching. Thank you, Shelia. Thank you, Shelia, so much.
You're welcome.
For sharing. And as always, yes, do share, do subscribe, and tune into the next episode. And thank you for watching. Take care.